Do you feel like you're doing everything right when it comes to weight loss, yet you're not losing any weight? Or maybe you lose some, but then you always tend to gain it back, and it's this whole yo-yo dance? Well, you may be surprised at the top 11 things that are holding you back from weight loss. And at the end, you'll know how to fix those. Now, I have ranked these in order from the least common to the most common one, with the last one being the top most important thing when it comes to weight loss, yet it is the most skipped part. It is the absolute key component when it comes to your body, self-love, self-care, and permanent weight loss. And what do I know about this? Well, I've been in health and fitness industry for 20 years. At this point, I've helped a few hundred women feel great in their bodies, lose weight, tone up, whatever their goals were. I have also dealt with weight issues a couple times in my life, and I've also trained in amateur bodybuilding, boxing, and kickboxing. All of that has taught me what to do, what not to do, and helped me recognize patterns that I see women make over and over again. And this is why I'm here today to share this with you so that you can break through and feel great about yourself. And by the way, my name is Lex if we haven't met yet. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the top 11 things that may be holding you back from permanent weight loss. Number 1, lack of workout variety. So our body gets used to anything we do over and over again. So if you do yoga or you do running or you do a certain routine at the gym, but you repeat the same thing, the body gets used to it. It becomes just like second nature to it. This is why we need to change the frequency, duration, or intensity of our workouts. Most importantly, having our strength training being the key component and then adding a little bit more cardio into the regimen. So if you're someone who has the same routine, it's time to change it up. Number 2 would be underlying medical conditions. Things like PCOS, pre-diabetes, insulin resistance, being a diabetic, having gut health issues. These conditions make it very challenging for people to lose weight, but don't lose hope because you can still do it. If this is you and you've been struggling to lose weight on your own, it is time to talk to a specialist, someone who understands weight loss and your particular medical issue. And no, the answer is never weight loss pills. Number 3 revolves around protein, eating too little or too much protein. Most Americans underconsume protein, which doesn't help us maintain muscle, and therefore if we don't eat enough protein, we'll lose muscle mass, we're left with body fat, and that's a really hard battle to battle when it comes to weight loss because we're actually wanting to focus on fat loss rather than muscle loss. With that said, about a third of your calories should come from protein. Just include it in every meal and have a third of your plate be some proper protein. Now the other side of that is eating too much protein because every fitness guru and their mother are telling you to eat protein, protein, protein. And so what happens is people come to me and they say, I can never meet these protein requirements. And then two things happen. One, they feel like they've failed. They feel like they cannot do something right. And that has a whole psychological effect on them, which we're going to talk about later. And number 2, they're constantly feeding themselves too much protein where it just gets sickening and you get sick and tired of this food. And then you just end up binging and eating something different. And there is a golden middle. While you want to focus on strength training, like we mentioned, you also want to have adequate protein. And like I mentioned, about a third of your plate should be protein. Number 4 would be being too strict with your diet. See, this diet culture has brainwashed us to think there's a start date, there's the end date, this is exact rules that you have to follow. And then the moment you don't follow them, you failed. And what happens when you feel like you failed? You start eating more. Being too strict with your diet makes too many changes all at once. Your taste buds are not used to that. Your brain is not used to that food. You feel unsatisfied. You feel restricted and deprived. You feel like you're eating cardboard all the time. Therefore, you're waiting for that end date so that you can go back to the real food, the food that you are normally eating. This is why I don't like diets. They make you yo-yo. They make you go too strict and then you fall off the wagon and go too strict and you fall off the wagon. And at this point, you have created a habit. So you change the name of the diet, but you take the same approach. You go too strict, you fall off, you eat too much of the wrong food. This is why I don't recommend dieting, but making tiny, small changes that you can maintain throughout your life. Some diets and some people will tell you to food prep, which makes it so boring because if you've ever seen any video of food prep, they're probably making the same food for the whole week. And let me tell you, I've done this and it doesn't work. If you do that on a Sunday, by Wednesday or Thursday, you are done with that food. You don't want to see it. You don't want to smell it. You don't want to have anything to do with it. And you want to order pizza. But if you want more recipe ideas that are healthy, yummy, and easy to make, I do have such a recipe book out. I always call myself a lazy cook. My ingredients are 5 or less, and they're all set it and forget it kind of meals. Check it out. I'll leave the links in the description. You can find out more about it and see if it's for you. Okay, the previous one lead me to number 5, which is dieting too much in the past and therefore slowing down metabolism. Like I mentioned, when we repeat these cycles of dieting and starving ourselves and then eating and then gaining the weight and this whole catch-22, during the process, we slow down and damage our metabolism. So it takes time for the said metabolism to get back on track. So you've changed your workout regimen. Maybe you're not as strict with your diet. Things are not changing, but you know that in the past, you've done this for too long. Just stick with it. Give it a little bit more time. It may take time for that metabolism to wake up again. Okay, 6 is a big one. It's wanting instant gratification and not understanding the weight set point. Okay, so we all want instant gratification. Wouldn't it be lovely to start dieting today and lose 70 pounds in a day? But obviously that's not possible. So what happens is a lot of people lose a lot of weight the first week, which includes water weight, and that can be anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds. But then naturally that slows down because now your body's actually losing body fat, which is what you want. Your target goal should be 1 to 2 pounds a week, and that's if you're going on off of the scale, which is not ideal. I always recommend having another way of measuring that, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Let's go back to weight. 1 to 2 pounds a week is all you want, and that's where people get frustrated. Sometimes our body holds on to weight, even we're doing everything right, and then just drops really quickly. And that goes with the weight set point. So our weight set point is the weight that our body's kind of comfortable with at the moment. You don't gain or lose weight too easily from that number. It's that one number that you kind of stick with. Now, if we lose weight too fast, our body's going to want to go back to that weight set point and probably gain a little bit more. And so we do this dance. Again, we yo-yo. We drop the weight, we gain it back, and then some. We drop the weight, we gain it back, and then some. And our weight set point keeps going up. Body doesn't like drastic changes. So you want to think again, 1 to 2 pounds a week, slowly losing weight, allowing your body time to readjust that weight set point. Now, I've been talking about weight set point to my clients for a long time, but I always find that not many of them know about it. Do you know about it? I'd love to hear from you because it's something that I think that we need to talk about more, but so many people don't. And every time I explain this to people, they go, well, that kind of makes sense. And then it helps them realize we need to slow this whole journey down. All right, number 7, it's getting serious now. It's the hormonal imbalance. Whether we're talking about thyroid not working well or high cortisol levels, which is typically due to high stress levels, which we'll address in a minute, or our sex hormones being out of balance when it comes to women, estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, they all need to be in balance and they're often not. A lot of people are estrogen dominant because we have so-called endocrine blockers all around us in the plastic, in our shampoos, in our conditioners, in our soap, and therefore it raises our estrogen to a not so great level and it doesn't balance the other hormones. Obviously, like I mentioned, high cortisol or hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, or any other thyroid issue like that can make it harder to lose weight. I guess for Hashimoto's and other issues could fall under an underlying medical condition, but again, I want to address specifically having hormones out of balance. And I do have a video on how to balance progesterone in your body. You may want to check that out after this one. In the meantime, you may want to go to a doctor and get all your hormones tested to see what the levels are, because you always want to get to the root cause of what's going on in your body so that once you change that, the body will drop the body fat. Number 8, I see too often, is hidden calories in so-called healthy food that are actually not healthy. Many healthy foods like store-bought smoothies or granola bars or protein bars or the worst salad dressings are packed with hidden sugars, unhealthy fats, and many other ingredients that we do not need. So here you are wanting to lose weight, you're meeting a friend at the restaurant, and you're like, I'm not going to get a burger. I'm going to go ahead and get a salad like a good girl. I'm going to use the dressing that they gave me, whatever it is, because it's a dressing. What's the big deal? It's a salad after all. Not realizing you might as well have that burger because calorie-wise, it's about the same. Plus, you had a salad. You don't even feel satiated. Be careful with the hidden calories and always look for the ingredients. When it comes to salad, order dressing on the side, or better yet, just use olive oil, a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of lemon, salt, and you're done. Now, if you're one of those that's like trying to eat more healthy, but you're still confused about what really healthy food is, I do have a video on the 5 healthy foods that I would never eat, so you may want to check that one out after this video. Number 9, we are not getting adequate sleep. When we are not getting our sleep, our hormones that control hunger, such as leptin or ghrelin, get all over the place, causing us to feel hungry when we're really not. This is why you can pay attention to the days when you didn't sleep well, how much hungrier you actually are on those days, and how much sugar you typically crave. Because all your body's really wanting to do is get more food to get more fuel. Because remember, food is actually fuel to the body. So if it's exhausted from lack of proper sleep, it's going to need some fuel. This is oftentimes why when we don't sleep well, we tend to eat bad. So even though it's the end of the day, you've been busy all day, you're scrolling on the phone trying to wind down, you're not winding down. You are lacking your proper sleep. Put your phone down and go to sleep. Okay, number 10, way too common. I think everybody knows this one. It's too high of a stress. Chronic stress is destroying our body because we're not meant for it. We're meant for short-term stress. As a matter of fact, any creature on this planet Earth is only designed for short-term stress. We're the only ones that keep it long. We're the only ones that keep it going, that think about it, talk about it, get angry about it, and can't let it go. And the other side of that is everybody wants to be busy because we've been brainwashed to think that if you're not busy, you're perceived as lazy. I want to bring the lazy back. I want to bring back the days that you don't do anything but sit on the couch, read your book, and drink your tea. And if you're not in a position to afford these days right now, maybe you've got kids and all these activities going on, I ask you to simply take 5 to 10 minutes, either before you fall asleep or right as you wake up, for yourself. I had a client who fought me on this tooth and nail when it comes to meditations. Finally, she said, fine, I'm going to do it before kids walk into my room early in the morning. This became her sanctuary. Now kids know I'm not even going to walk into the room until mom is done with her meditation because they know they get a better mom. So even if you don't bring the lazy back right now, I do ask you to take a little bit of time every day for yourself. You can also breathe, take deep breaths throughout the day. When we are stressed out, our breath is shallow. You may even want to set up notifications on your phone to remind you, hey, it's time to take 3 to 5 deep breaths. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. When you make that exhale longer than your inhale, you're telling your body to calm down the central nervous system. This is going to lower your cortisol levels. For as long as your cortisol levels are high all the time, not only when it's supposed to be like early morning, but if your cortisol level is high all the time, not only that you won't lose weight, but you can gain a bunch of weight in your midsection, which is the most dangerous kind of weight to carry. And last but not least, number 11, which is the most important thing to address when you're wanting to lose weight, is addressing the emotional and psychological effects of weight loss. Most women overlook the emotional and mental well-being. They don't address what's going on between these two ears. They don't pay attention to their mood, their thoughts, their emotions. We need to know why we're emotionally eating. We need to know how we've been feeling when we went on that binge. We need to know why we ended up opening the fridge when we're not even hungry. When you start being aware of this, you can start changing things. But most importantly, without self-judgment, guilt, or shame. This is where I find the trickiest work to be done. Most women are taught and they kind of live in this guilt and shame, not to mention worry and self-judgment. And that itself is not allowing you to learn to love yourself through this journey. It's not your body that you don't like. It's something underneath there. And until you are brave enough and ready enough to address it, chances are you won't permanently lose weight. And I'm not judging. My journey of self-love is a really long one, but I've seen myself and other of my clients transform when we do this properly. For example, you have to know your reason why, your deeply rooted reason why you want to change. You have to know your triggers. You have to train yourself at these different tools on how to handle things when stress is high, when you're not getting sleep, when you're not loving yourself, particularly that day. It takes time to what I call de-diet. It takes time to break those old habits and create the healthy new ones. And success is never a straight line. It's like a stock market. It goes up and down at all times. And sometimes you got to watch yourself every hour, every 15 minutes. You got to guide yourself through this. This is why I address this in my membership. This is why I have my membership. We address the psychology the most. That's the premise of it. So if you are someone who needs more guidance, you need more accountability, you need to learn more about nutrition, but also understand what the root cause is, you may want to check out my membership. I'll leave the links in the description below. Check it out and see if it's right for you. In the meantime, if you want to learn more about the psychology of weight loss and even do a few mental exercises to break through, check out my video that covers all of that in detail. You can click here and check it out now.